Well, Wayne, here we are in your beautiful store, and I need to ask you, how did you get involved with Patagonia?
Well, thanks, Barry. First of all, it is a beautiful store, and I really got to thank the staff for doing a good job keeping it to the standards that Patagonia wants and what we do. But before I jump into how I got involved with Patagonia, I want to tell you when I got first exposed to Patagonia. My personal history is I came to Canada in about 1983, and I was born and raised in Michigan, and I first got exposed to Patagonia back in about 1979, 1980, and I actually have with me my first piece of Patagonia apparel. This is a 1979, 80 cinchilla jacket. And I was really proud to have this. I worked in a ski shop, and this jacket at the time was kind of my utility coat. I use it to ski, I use it to hike. Not much of a climber, but when I first came to Calgary, a good friend of mine took me ice climbing. And I want to show you one of the tools I used.
That jacket, though, I had the same one. I think I had the next one with a little lighter material on the outside.
Yeah.
And what's funny about that jacket, Melinda told me that jacket paid for the cabin in the Tetons.
I'm glad I helped Yvonne and Linda out with that. That's really good. So I bought this in Michigan.
Very successful piece.
Very successful piece, yeah. And it was very multi-purpose. Like I said, I used to ski in it, used to hike in it. It was my jacket walking around the University of Calgary. And anyway, I did go ice climbing once, and I have an axe there to prove it.
Yeah. Please.
I want to show you this. You might like this axe here. This here, for those watching, this is I don't know what vintage it is, but I would imagine probably 60s or 70s. This is a Chenard Equipment ice axe. You might be able to say something about it.
That is a Chenard Zero North Wall hammer. And that's one of the ice tools that should be in the Museum of Modern Art and Design. Possibly is, and I don't know it. But that is, state of the art, one of the most beautiful tools for ice climbing ever made. Bamboo shafted, because bamboo dampens vibration better than hickory or oak.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Yvonne wouldn't want to hear this. I'm more of a golfer than an ice climber, so I don't go back to hickory shafts. But I have used this once. I've actually climbed a little bit at the junkyards in Canmore.
All right.
Yeah, where I live a little bit with it. But Jim asked me to ask you, would you climb waterfall ice with this?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
And that tool, I took up the Cassine Ridge of Mount Denali, highest peak in North America, in 1982. And Yvonne won't want to hear this, but I was pounding on it to anchor a tent in the coldest environment I've ever been in. And I'm pounding on it, and the last inch and a half of the pick just fell off.
Wow.
I'm pounding on the head of it with a different tool.
Wow.
And because of the cold, the last inch and a half fell off. And it's still up on McKinley, and I miss it.
So this is a bit of an heirloom, eh?
Oh yeah.
No,
don't give that away anytime soon.
Wonderful. That's great. I'm proud to own it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my Patagonia adventure is not only in the outdoors, but it's been in business here. I want to say I'm really proud to be involved with such a great company for nearly 20 years now. By happenstance and good luck, I've always been a fan of the brand, and there was an opportunity to invest in opening up a dedicated Patagonia store nearly 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. We started in Calgary. Like anything, business is an adventure too, and it's been an adventure, and I'm really proud to say, through great leadership of some of my management team and stuff, we've got a nice business. We now have obviously a store here in Banff, one in Calgary, one in Victoria. We've opened up some recent stores under the Elements brand, which is the parent company, where we sell both Patagonia and Filson and other brands. And so it's been fun. Like I said, I'm really proud to be able to work with Patagonia, and it's all about trust.
Yeah.
And I think through the years that we've been involved with them, we developed a good sense of trust with them, high standards, all the things that we expect from Patagonia, we try to emulate. So, I'm really proud of that.
Yeah. And do you have a framed picture in your house that might have been taken by the owner of the company?
a framed picture in my house, owner of this company.
Patagonia, Yvon.
Do I have one? I don't know if I do or not, to be honest with you. You've been to my house. Do I have one?
I thought I saw one. I thought I saw one of you and your daughters. And
oh, okay. Now you're telling me a story. Okay, yes, yes. Okay. So one of the greatest times I've had with this whole Patagonia venture was a few years ago. The Chenard family was up here for the Banff Film Festival. The film that they did a few years ago, Damnation, was being presented. And we had a little cocktail party here, and it was a real fun night. And I've got two younger daughters. At the time, they were teenagers, and I wanted to have a picture taken with them and Yvon. And so he puts his arms around them and says, "Smile and say North Face." And so that was one of the highlights of my whole adventure with Patagonia. But yeah, it's been great.
And it worked.
It worked. Yeah, it worked. Yes.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think of Yvon's history in the Canadian Rockies. The first ascent of the North Face of Mount Edith Cavell with Fred Becky and Dan Duty in 1961. Yvon was only 19 years old. First ascent of the North Face of Mount Assiniboine, the beautiful three-sided pyramid that is just over there. And he climbed that in 1967 with Chris Jones and Joe Faint. And then more local to us, the Lake Louise group, the Nareo Gullies. And a lot of people would be skiing Yvon's route these days. But he'd made the first ascent of the South Nareo Gully in 1970 with Peter Carman. And yeah, even beyond that, an ascent in southern Alberta of a really beautiful ice climb that I've climbed called Blue Angel with Uris Christopjensens in 1977, the year I graduated from high school. So yeah, the man, and then the amount of fish he's taken out of Alberta.
Oh, no, wait a second. I think he's all catch and release, isn't he?
Well, he's caught it.
And that's my sport too. The thing that I'm really passionate about is fly fishing, and that's a good segue into, I think, 1% for the planet. I think many of you know here that Yvon Chenard and Craig Matthews, who owns a fly shop in Montana, started an organization back, I think, in 2002, where members of the organization donate 1% of their sales to environmental causes. And as we got to be more successful, we joined that. And I'm really proud to say that we're members of 1% for the planet. And what happens here is 1% of every sale we make goes to some environmental entities in all the markets that we operate in. And really what I want to shout out here is our customers, because our customers have a choice. This is really a donation that's just filtered through us. And we go through, and when you buy a product from Patagonia, Calgary, Banff, Victoria, or any of our Element stores, 1% of the sales go to environmental causes in those communities. My staff, myself, we choose which organizations they go to, and I'm going to list a few of them here over the last few years that we've donated to. I'm a big fly fishing fan, so I donate a lot to Trout Unlimited Canada. We donate a lot to Yellowstone to Yukon. We donate a lot to surf riders in Victoria that clean up the oceans. Some of the community organizations that help people understand how to become more environmentally conscious in what they do. So I'm really proud of that. And I don't know exactly what the number is, but certainly over the last 4 or 5 years, we're pushing well over $250,000, which we've donated to various causes here. So I'm really proud of that. And I want to thank our customers for that, because it's really, like I said, you have a choice to where you shop. And by shopping here, you're helping out lots of great causes. The other organization that we're starting to support is one that I know you're involved in with Jim, and that's Guardians of the Ice. That one really resonates with me as well, too, because when you look at the Columbia ice field, that is kind of the crucible of our water here. And me being a fly fisherman, all the drainages, both east and west and north, where I like to fish, the water really starts there. So to me, I think what you guys are doing there, Jim and all his team with that, is great. And I'm really glad that we can support that one as well.
Well, thank you. And yeah, you got it covered because that ice field drains into the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic. So
That's right.
not much water makes it out of Canada without making it through those three places.
I really like fishing drainages on the Columbia Basin. There's a couple secret spots that I like. I like to go there. And I have a place out in the West Kootenays, and there's some rivers there that are really nice.
Well, don't talk too much. But I've got to ask you, where is Patagonia Elements based?
Where are we based? Well, our head office is in Canmore. But like I said, we've got stores now in Calgary, Banff, Victoria, Edmonton, Tsawwassen.
Right.
So, but the head office and all the big decisions and stuff are made right in Canmore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've been by actually. Yeah. Well, man.
I just want to say, thanks to everybody who's on the stream here today for supporting Patagonia and this whole cause. I'm privileged to be here to do this for you guys, and I wish all future young climbers success in what they're doing here.
Thank you. I'll just say that 1% of the planet, I've heard Yvonne describe it as an earth tax, that none of us would be doing any business at all if we didn't live on this blue and green ball. And that's the tax for doing business here.
That's absolutely right. I mean, everything we do boils down to using the resources we have here on this planet. And how I view it, it's my license to operate. It really is. Mm-hmm. And by virtue of call it, I don't really view it as a tax, but maybe a bit of a penance in the sense that, we're privileged to live on this planet and we have to take care of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.